Hello guys, welcome. Okay, I'm gonna try and type out the schedule that I'm hoping to go for today. Can y'all hear me by the way? I hope y'all can. The thing is, I'm kind of whispering right now because I don't know. I just don't want any issues with the neighbors or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But hello, it's me, Bunny Rabbit Lives, and I hope that y'all enjoy stopping by today. Yes. Um Jesus. There you go. Actually, let me see. Let me type a new one right for y'all. And because I really want to, fix it. You know what I'm saying? Please be kind. Wait, but y'all can't hear me, right? There we go. That is the message. Hi, how are you? Are you doing good? Can y'all hear me? Do I like pizza? Yes, I do. I like pizza. If you ask me how I like it, I like pizza with pepperoni and sometimes I know, don't judge me guys, but I like pizza with apples and blueberries. I don't know where I got it from, but I got one with that in it and it was really good. Today it might be like an ASMR stream, I guess. Um hello Evelyn. Hello Jean. Little Witty. Hi. Okay. And go. Hello. Okay, that's great. That is amazing because I don't want to upset my neighbors and they seem to be getting upset a lot recently. And Emma, I subscribed. Woohoo! Thank you for subscribing. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys. By the way, my Tamagotchi has run out of battery finally. But he's okay. I put batteries in him again. He was so upset. But how do y'all like your pizza? Oh, I said you said pepperoni pizza is the goat. Yes, you are right. Pepperoni pizza is the best. Well, actually, I have a lot of like texture issues with food, actually. So, yeah, to me, I liked my stuff a little bit crunchy. So, yeah, I am really good. I am streaming for y'all today. Um, just chatting and stuff. Actually, today I was supposed to go to work and I didn't. It was an accident. I thought didn't work today. Okay? But I did. So yeah, that's what happened. So here I am for y'all, ready to entertain. Hey, how are you doing? Also, if y'all like what you see throughout the stream, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. But also like this. Hey, Sadies, how are you? What do you mean at this? Or I don't know what that means. I'm doing good. That's great. What do y'all like to do for fun? I. How are you? Oh, I'm good too. I'm really good actually. I got okay, so y'all know how I was telling y'all about how I went with my nieces. I bought them some Tamagotchi keychains. Y'all have y'all seen those? The little keychains? You like to play Roblox? What do you like to play in Roblox? I don't really play Roblox because I have a PlayStation, but I don't have a PC, and now that's highly unlikely to happen. This of I have three. DTI, dress to impress. Okay. Um, I play fashion games too, but Brookhaven sounds good. Hi, Jagged. Did I pronounce that right? And Brookhaven, isn't that like a really nice cozy game coming out, or is it already out? I have a PS5 too. Hey, even I do know FNAF. I do know FNAF. I just haven't been able to play it myself. I used to like the lore. I used to watch a lot of Markiplier and PewDiePie. Back in the day. Um, you pronounced it right. Okay, that's great. Hi, Magnolia. Brookhaven is good. Yeah, like I'm really interested in it. Sadly, I don't think it will come out for PlayStation 5. I think it's a PC exclusive maybe or Switch one. But I can't buy any more games, guys. I really can't. Like for real, I can't. I have too many already. And then I have one on the way. So I can't. I'm gonna put bro, why can't I English right now? For real. Why can't I English? Um so what I was trying to say is that I am so excited for Tomodachi Life. That's what I'm super excited about. Thank you, Magnolia. I'm stuck on FNAF 5 on Bonbon and Funtime Freddy, and I can't stop dying. See, I have not seen it. I have not seen. Oh, what games do I play? Recently, I've been trying to finish the games that I already have in my collection. So I'm trying to finish Slime Rancher 2. What else? Um, what was that? Oh, ReZero, Starting Life in Another World, The Prophecy of the Throne, and what else? Oh my god. Sorry guys, that's my Tamagotchi. He's asleep. He's my baby. Good night. His name is Elijah too. Hey. I like that name. Hi, GT404. How are you doing? Do you know K-pop? Yes, I do. I love K-pop. I love K-pop a lot. Um, See, I used to listen to my first K-pop group that I really enjoyed was EXO, and I liked the Korean subgroup, but I now like I guess but I liked all of them. Some of the Chinese songs sounded better and other times the Korean ones sounded better. I do know Felix from Stray Kids. I used to listen to Stray Kids actually. I still listen to some of their stuff. But right now I am more into reggaeton recently. I got into it. See, um so actually, my one of my favorite groups was Day 6, but once Jay got kicked or he quit, I stopped listening to them because he made it good. And also Shiny. I stopped listening to Shiny because their sound completely changed once you know who passed. Do you know what I'm saying? And also um what else? Mm, what is it called? Am I Christian? I would not say I'm Christian. I would say I am agnostic. I do believe there's a higher power out there, but and I do call it God, but I am not sure if it's like how other religious people view it. You know what I'm saying? Cuz I do believe in a higher power. I just don't think he's, you know, the way most describe him. And hyphen. And hyphen, I haven't listened to them, but I have listened to NCT, and that's one of my favorite groups. I used to listen to all their songs, all the subgroups. Um, NCT was my tea. Can you do a tutorial on how to live on the app, but also on YouTube? I can't actually, Ragatha, because I tried streaming on both this app and on YouTube, and it muted me completely on YouTube. Yeah, I get you, Jagged. God is a very powerful man or woman, or I don't know. You see, that's what I'm saying. I see him more as like a powerful spirit. You know how they say like the spirit and stuff? I just view it that way. But I am accepting and curious about everyone's beliefs, so I am willing to hear everyone out on what they believe. Because I am a very curious person at heart. You really like my avatar. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Magnolia. Thank you. Um, but yeah, that's like a topic for maybe a different channel or like a video instead of a live stream. Because for me, like honestly, that's not like something that, you know what I'm saying? Not everyone enjoys talking about that. So, yes. Hi, Kempty. How are you doing? Are you doing good? Yes. Yes, we can all have our own beliefs as long as they harm nobody. How are you doing, Kempty? Did I pronounce that right? I hope I pronounced it right. Thank you. Um, but yes. Um, see, but my favorite person in NCT was I think his name was Win Win. Yeah, he's really cute. But yes. And also, do you guys have pets? I have a cat. And he's cute, but he's like weird. He like sometimes love you, sometimes hates you. But yeah. Honestly, guys, cats are very finicky. I really enjoy dogs, but I don't know if I want to work with them. You know what I'm saying? Had one, but she left. She ran out the door. Yeah, cats are very, very slippery. Mine did that once too, and I had to look for her at night, all alone. And I was inventing this like story where I had to like travel the land and search for her so that I would keep myself looking because I was like so scared. I have a dog named Dora and a cat named Pups. That's so cute. A cat named Pups? Does he like, you know, act dog-like? And Dora, is she an explorer? Is she explorative? She sounds very cute. But you know who else I liked in K-pop as well? Twice. I really liked Twice. Yes. Ah, the name matches. I love when a pet's name matches. I think it's the best. Too bad the Tamagotchis don't have a personality. Because, I mean, You just have to come up with something. Do you like Blackpink? Only some of their songs. I think I like their old stuff a little bit. Like the one that's like Blackpink in your area. You know what I'm saying? Is it Boombaya? Ah yeah yeah Boombaya yeah 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 yeah. Boo boomba boo boomba yeah. I think I could be I could be mistaken, bruh. or but I also like what's my favorite song in NCT 126. I have so many. Um I like what's that one? The one that's like you're superhuman or something like that. Wait, how else does it go? Ah, I forgot. Oh my god, same, right? Dakota, hello. Hello. Hi, everyone in Dakota. I know almost half the Stray Kids songs. Yeah, like I really like Elevator, but I don't know what other songs. Like I don't remember the titles very much, but if I open my Spotify, I can show or I can talk about it. But yeah, so far I've really been into what's it called? Reggaeton, which is like Spanish like hip hop music, I think, or very similar to it. The only thing I don't like about reggaeton is how hyper sexual it is. You know what I'm saying? Do you use glasses in real life? I mean, yes, I do. Sometimes I misread y'all's names because I am not wearing my glasses so that my avatar can pick up my eyes better. Bye bye, Ragita. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye bye, Ragita. But yes, I do. I do wear glasses. So do I. Great. Let's make a blind group. Blind support group. Hey yo. Hell yeah. Okay, I'm gonna subscribe. Thank you, Ragatha. And you too, Magnolia. Yeah, y'all wear glasses. What color are y'all's real life glasses? Mine's for the moment are pink. I'm nearsighted. Does that mean you can't see when something is close to you? Because I can't see when something is far away. Silver and blue. Oh my goodness, that sounds so pretty. Mine is clear and pink. And I like wearing pink, but I don't know why. Cause I don't have a lot of stuff that matches with the pink. I just said, you know what? Pink looks good on my face. Mine's black and white. You know what? That matches everything. You got it, girl. Fashion setup. There and ready. You can't see something if it's far. Same. I'm like, or sometimes even when it's close, because I'm starting to get that bad, like in terms of how blind I am. But yeah, guys. Now that I've chatted with y'all for a bit, I really do think it's time that I started reading. If y'all would like to hear the story, we are in chapter 8, and there is a playlist with all the previous chapters. Hopefully, we can move on to the next. Thank you so much for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Yay! Thank you. But yes, guys, thank you so much for chatting. And I will now be reading to y'all. So I hope y'all enjoy the story. Let's see how it sounds with it being whispered. Okay. Chapter 8 will start in 1, 2, 3, and he was the color of blood. Not the springing blood of the heart, but the blood that stirs under an old wound that never really healed. A terrible light poured from him like sweat, and his roar started landslides flowing into one another. His horns were as pale as scars. For one moment, the unicorn faced him, frozen as a wave about to break. Then the light of her horn went out, and she turned and fled. The Red Bull bellowed again and leapt down after her. The unicorn had never been afraid of anything. She was immortal, but she could be killed by a harpy, by a dragon on a chimera, by a stray arrow loosed at a squirrel. But dragons could only kill her. They could never make her forget what she was, or themselves forget that, even dead, she would still be more beautiful than they. The Red Bull did not know her, and yet she could feel that it was herself he sought, and no white mare. Fear blew her dark then, and she ran away. While the bull's raging ignorance filled the sky and spilled over into the valley, the trees lunged at her, and she veered wildly among them. She who slipped so softly through eternity without bumping into anything. Behind her, they were breaking like glass in the rush of the Red Bull. He roared once again, and a great branch clubbed her on the shoulder so hard that she staggered and fell. She was up immediately, but now roots humped under her feet as she ran, and others burrowed as busily as moles to cut across the path. Vines struck at her like strangling snakes. Creepers wove webs between the trees. Dead boughs crashed all around her. She fell a second time. The bull's hoofs on the earth boomed through her bones, and she cried out. She must have found some way out of the trees, for she was running on the hard, bald plain that lay beyond the prosperous pasture lands of Hagsgate. Now she had room to race, and a unicorn is only lapping when she leaves the hunter kicking his burst and sinking horse. She moved with the speed of life, winking from one body to another, and running down a sword. Swifter. Oh, I am so sorry. What's it called? The Last Unicorn. Sorry. And hello, the weird one. Really appreciate you stopping by. Also, you too, Jessica. Thank you for stopping by. Um, then anything burned with legs or wings. Yet, without looking back, she knew that the Red Bull was gaining on her, coming like the moon, the sullen, swollen hunter's moon. She could feel the shock of the livid horns in her side, as though he had already struck. Ripe, sharp cornstalks leaned together to make a hedge at her breast, but she trampled them down. Silver wheat fields turned cold and gummy when the bull breathed on them. They dragged at her legs like snow. Still she ran, bleeding and defeated, hearing the butterflies' icy chiming. They passed down all the roads long ago, and the Red Bull ran close behind them. He had killed them all. Suddenly the bull was facing her, as though he had been lifted like a chess piece, swooped through the air, and sat down again to bar her way. He did not charge immediately, and she did not run. He had been huge when she first fled him, but in the pursuit he had grown so vast that she could not imagine all of him. Now he seemed to curve with the curve of the bloodshot sky, his legs like great whirlwinds, his head rolling like the northern lights, his nostrils wrinkled and rumbled as he searched for her. And the unicorn realized that the Red Bull was blind. If he had rushed her then, she would have met him, tiny and despairing, with her darkened horn, even though he stamped her to pieces. He was swifter than she. Better to face him now than to be caught running. But the bull advanced slowly, with a kind of sinister daintiness, as though he were trying not to frighten her, and again she broke before him. With a low sad cry, she whirled and ran back the way she had come, back through the tattered fields and over the plain, toward King Haggard's castle, dark and hunched as ever. And the Red Bull went after her, following her fear. Schmendrick and Molly had been spun away like chips when the bull went by. Molly slammed breathless and witless against the ground, and the magician hurled into a tangle of thorns that cost him half his cloak and an eighth of his skin. They got up when they could and went limping in pursuit, leaning on one another. Neither one said a word. The way through the trees was easier for them than the unicorn had found it, for the Red Bull had been there since. Molly and the magician scrambled over great tree trunks, not only smashed but trodden halfway into the ground, and dropped to hands and knees to crawl around crevices they could not fathom in the dark. No hoofs could have ever made these, Molly thought dazedly. The earth had torn itself, shrinking from the burden of the bull. She thought of the unicorn, and her heart paled. When they came out on the plain, they saw her, far and faint, a tuft of white water on the wind. Almost invisible in the glare of the Red Bull, Molly grew a little crazy with weariness and fear. Saw them moving the way stars and stones move through space, forever falling, forever flowing, forever alone. The Red Bull would never catch the unicorn, not until now caught up with new, bygone, and begin. Molly smiled serenely. But the blazing shadow loomed over the unicorn until the bull seemed to be all around her. She reared, swerved, and sprang away in another direction, only to meet the bull there, his head lowered and his jaws drooling thunder. Again she turned, and again, backing and sliding, sidling, backing and sidling, making crafty little dashes to this side or that, and each time the Red Bull headed her off by standing still. He did not attack, but he left her no way to go, save one. He's driving her, Schmendrick said quietly. If he wanted to kill her, he could have done it by now. He's driving her the way he drove the others, to the castle, to Haggard. I wonder why. Molly said, "Do something." The voice was strangely calm and casual, and the magician answered her in the same tone. "There's nothing I can do." The unicorn fled once more, pitifully tireless, and the Red Bull let her have room to run, but none to turn. When she faced him for a third time, she was close enough for Molly to see her hind legs shivering like those of a frightened dog. Now she set herself to stand, pawing the ground wickedly and laying back her small lean ears, but she could make no sound, and her horn did not grow bright again. She cowered when the Red Bull below made the sky ripple and crack, and yet she did not back away. "Please," Molly grew sad. "Please do something." Schmendrick turned to her, and his face was wild with helplessness. "What can I do? What can I do? With my magic? Hat tricks? Penny tricks? Or the one where I scramble stones to make an omelette? Would that entertain the Red Bull, do you think? Or shall I try the trick with the singing oranges? I'll try whatever you suggest, for I would certainly be happy to be of some practical use." Molly did not answer him. The bull came on, and the unicorn crouched lower and lower until she seemed about to snap in two. Schmendrick said, I know what to do. If I could, I'd change her into some other creature, some beast too humble for the bull to be concerned with. But only a great magician, a wizard like Nikos, who was my teacher, would have that kind of power. To transform a unicorn, anyone who could do that could juggle the seasons and shuffle years like playing cards. And I have no more power than you, have less. For you can touch her, and I cannot. Then he said suddenly, "Look, it's over." The unicorn was standing very still before the Red Bull, her head down and her whiteness drabbled to a soapy gray. She looked gaunt and small, and even Molly, who loved her, could not keep from seeing that a unicorn is an absurd animal when the shining has gone out of her. Tail like a lion's tail, deer legs, goat feet, the mane cold and fine as foam over my hand. The charred horn, the eyes. Oh, the eyes! Molly took hold of Schmendrick's arm and dug her nails into it as hard as she could. "You have magic," she said. She heard her own voice, as deep and clear as Sybil's. "Maybe you can't find it, but it's there. You called upon Robin Hood, and there is no Robin Hood. But he came, and he was real. And that is magic. You have all the power you need, if you dare to look for it." Schmendrick regarded her in silence, staring as hard as though his green eyes were beginning the search for his magic in Molly Grew's eyes. The bull stepped lightly toward the unicorn, no longer pursuing, but commanding her with the weight of his presence. And she moved ahead of him, docile, obedient. He followed like a sheepdog, guiding her in the direction of King Haggard's jagged tower and the sea. "Oh, please!" Molly's voice was crumbling now. "Can y'all hear me? Please, it's not fair. It can't be happening. He'll drive her to Haggard, and no one will ever see her again. No one. Please, you're a magician. You wouldn't let him." Her fingers struck even deeper into Schmedrick's arm. "Do something!" she wept. "Don't let him! Do something!" Schmendrick was prying futilely at her clenched fingers. "I'm not going to do a damn thing," he said through his teeth, "until you let go of my arm." "Oh," Molly said, "I'm sorry." "You can cut off the circulation like that, you know," the magician said severely. He rubbed his arm and took a few steps forward, into the path of the Red Bull. There he stood with his arms folded and his head high, though it dropped now and then, because he was very tired. "Maybe this time," Molly heard him mutter. "Oh, maybe this time," Molly heard him mutter. "Maybe this time," Nico said. What was it that Nico said? I don't remember. It has been so long. There was an odd old sorrow in his voice that Molly had never heard before. Then a gaiety leaped up like a flame as he said, "Well, who knows? Who knows? If this is not the time, perhaps I can make it so. There's this much of comfort, friend Schmendrick. For once, I don't see how you can possibly make things any worse than they already are." And he laughed softly. The Red Bull, being blind, took no notice of the tall figures in the road until he was almost upon it. Then he halted, sniffing the air, storm stirring in his throat, but a certain confusion showing in the swing of his great head. The unicorn stopped when he stopped, and Schmendrick's breath broke to see her so tractable. "Run!" he called to her. "Run now!" But she never looked at him, or back at the bull, or at anything but the ground. At the sound of Schmendrick's voice, the bull's rumble grew louder and more menacing. He seemed eager to be out of the valley with the unicorn, and the magician thought he knew why. Beyond the towering brightness of the Red Bull, he could see two or three sallow stars and a cautious hint of a warmer light. Dawn was near. He doesn't care for daylight, Schmendrick said to himself. That's worth knowing. Once more he shouted to the unicorn to fly, but his only answer came in the form of a roar like a drum roll. The unicorn bolted forward, and Schmendrick had to spring out of her way, or she would have run him down. Close behind her came the bull, driving her swiftly now, as the wind drives the thin, torn mist. The power of his passage picked Schmendrick up and dropped him elsewhere, tumbling and rolling to keep from being trampled, his eyes jarred blind and his head full of flames. He thought he heard Molly Grew scream. Scrabbling to one knee, he saw that the Red Bull had herded the unicorn almost to the beginning of the trees. If she would only try one more time to escape, but she was the bull's and not her own. The magician had one glimpse of her, pale and lost between the pale horns, before the wild red shoulders surged across his sight. Then, swaying and sick and beaten, he closed his eyes and let his hopelessness march through him, until something woke somewhere that had wakened in him once before. He cried aloud for fear and joy. What words the magic spoke this second time, he never knew surely. They left him like eagles, and he let them go. And when the last one was away, the emptiness rushed back with a thunderclap that threw him on his face. It happened as quickly as that. This time he knew before he picked himself up that the power had been and gone. Ahead, the Red Bull was standing still, nosing at something on the ground. On the ground. Schmidter could not see the unicorn. He went forward as fast as he could, but it was Molly who first drew near enough to see what the bull was sniffing. She put her fingers in her mouth, like a child. "Hello, Pia. Welcome. I'm reading a book. It's The Last Unicorn." At the feet of the Red Bull there lay a young girl, spilled into a very small heap of light and shadow. She was naked, and her skin was the color of snow by moonlight. Fine tangled hair, white as a waterfall, came down almost to the small of her back. Her face was hidden in her arms. "Oh," Molly said. "Oh, what have you done?" And heedless of any danger, she ran to the girl and knelt beside her. The Red Bull raised his huge blind head and swung it slowly in Schmendrick's direction. "Hello, Boyd. Hi. I'm reading The Last Unicorn." He seemed to be waning and fading as the gray sky grew light, though he still smoldered as savagely bright as crawling lava. The magician wondered what his true size was and his color when he was alone. Once more the Red Bull sniffled at the stiff form, stirring it with his freezing breath. Then, without a sound, he bounded away into the trees and was gone from sight in 3 gigantic strides. Schmendrick had a last vision of him as he gained the rim of the valley. No shape at all, but a swirling darkness, the red darkness you see when you close your eyes in pain. The horns had become the 2 sharpest towers of old King Haggard's crazy castle. Molly Grew had taken the white girl's head onto her lap and was whispering over and over, "What have you done?" The girl's face, quiet in sleep and close to smiling, was the most beautiful that Smedrick had ever seen. It hurt him and warmed him at the same time. Molly smoothed the strange hair, and Smedrick noticed on the forehead, above and between the closed eyes, a small raised mark. Darker than the rest of the skin, it was neither a scar nor a bruise. It looked like a flower. "What do you mean, what have I done?" he demanded of the moaning Molly. "Only saved her from the bull by magic. That's what I've done. By magic, woman. By my own true magic." Now he was helpless with delight, for he wanted to dance and he wanted to be still. He shook with shouting and speechless, and yet there was nothing that he wanted to say. He ended by laughing foolishly, hugging himself until he gasped, and sprawling down beside Molly as his legs let go. Guys, why am I sitting like a shrimp? Sorry. "Give me your cloak," Molly said. The magician beamed at her, blinking. She reached over and ungently pulled the shredded cloak from his shoulders. Then she wrapped it around the sleeping girl, as much as it would wrap. The girl shone through it like the sun through leaves. "Doubtless you are wondering how I plan to return her to her proper shape," Schmendrick offered. "Wonder not. The power will come to me when I need it. I know that much now. One day it will come when I call, but that time is not yet." Impulsively he seized Molly Grew, hugging her head in his long arms. "But you were right," he cried. "You were right. It is there and it is mine." Molly pulled away from him, one cheek rugged red, and both ears mashed. The girl sighed in her lap, ceased to smile, turned her face from the sunrise. Molly said, "Schmendrick, you poor man, you magician, don't you see?" "See what? There's nothing to see." But his voice was suddenly hard and weary, and the green eyes were beginning to be frightened. "The Red Bull came for a unicorn, so she had to become something else." "Oh, that's not her, that's him." "The Red Bull came for the unicorn, so she had to become something else. You begged me to change her. What is it frets you now?" Molly shook her head in the wavering way of an old woman. She said, "I didn't know you meant to turn her into a human girl. You would have done better." She did not finish, but looked away from him. One hand continued to stroke the white girl's hair. "The magic chose the shape, not I," Schmendrick answered. "A mountebank may select this sheet or that, but a magician is a porter, a donkey carrying his master where he must. The magician calls, but the magic chooses. If it changes a unicorn to a human being, then that was the only thing to do." His face was fevered with an ardent delirium which made him look even younger. "I am a bearer," he sang. "I am dwelling. I am a messenger." "You're an idiot," Molly Grew said fiercely. "Do you hear me? You're a magician, all right, but you're a stupid magician." But the girl was trying to wake, her hands opening and closing, and her eyelids beating like birds' breasts. As Molly and Schmendrick looked on, the girl made a soft sound and opened her eyes. They were farther apart than common, and somewhat deeper set, and they were as dark as the deep sea and illuminated, like the sea, by strange glimmering creatures that never raised to the surface. The unicorn could have been transformed into a lizard, Molly thought, or into a shark, A snail, a goose, and somehow still her eyes would have given the change away. To me, anyway. I would know. The girl lay without moving, her eyes finding herself in Molly's eyes, and in Schmendrick's. Then, in one motion, she was on her feet, and the black cloak falling back across Molly's lap. For a moment she turned in a circle, staring at her own hands, which she held high and useless, close to her breast. She bobbed and shambled, like an ape trying a trick, and her face was the silly, bewildered face of a joker's victim. And yet she could make no move that was not beautiful. Her trapped terror was more lovely than any joy that Molly had ever seen, and that was the most terrible thing about it. I really hope y'all can hear me. Donkey, Molly said. Messenger. I can change her back, the magician answered hoarsely. Don't worry about it, I can change her back. Shining in the sun, the white girl hobbled to and fro on her strong young legs. She stumbled suddenly and fell, and it was a bad fall because she did not know how to. Sorry, guys. Catch herself with her hands. Molly flew to her, but the girl crouched on the ground staring at her. If you heard something, no, you didn't. Ed spoke in a low voice. What have you done to me? Molly Grew began to cry. Schmendrick came forward, his face cold and wet, but his voice level. I turned you into a human being to save you from the Red Bull. There was nothing else I could do. I will turn you to yourself again as soon as I can. The Red Bull, the girl whispered. Ah! She was trembling wildly, as though something were shaking and hammering at her skin from within. He was too strong, she said. Too strong. There was no end to his strength, and no beginning. He's older than I. Her eyes widened, and it seemed to Molly that the bull moved in them, crossing their depths like a flaming fish, and vanishing. The girl began to touch her face, timidly, recoiling from the feel of her own features. Her curled fingers brushed the mark on her forehead, and she closed her eyes and gave a thin, stabbing howl of loss and weariness and utter despair. What have you done to me? She cried. I will die here. She tore at the smooth body, and blood flowed her fingers. I will die here. I will die. Yet there was no fear in her face, though it ramped in her voice, in her hands and feet, in the white hair that fell down over her new body. Her face remained quiet and untroubled. Molly huddled over her, as near as she dared, begging her to not hurt herself. But Schmendrick said, Be still, and the two words cracked like autumn branches. He said, The magic knew what it was doing. Be still and listen. Why did you not let the bull kill me? The white girl moaned. Why did you not leave me to the harpy? That would have been kinder than closing me in this cage. The magician winced, remembering Molly Grew's mocking accusation, but he spoke with a desperate calmness. In the first place, it's quite an attractive shape, he said. You couldn't have done much better and still remained human. She looked at herself sideways, at her shoulders and her long arms. Oh, she looked at herself sideways at her shoulders and along her arms, then down her scratched and welting body. She stood on one foot to inspect the sole of the other, cocked her eyes up to see the silver brows, squinted down her cheeks to catch a flash of her nose, and even peered closely at the sea green veins inside her wrists, themselves as gaily made as young otters. At last, she turned her face to the magician, and again he caught his breath. I have made magic, he thought, but Toro winked sharp in his throat, like a fishhook setting fast. All right, he said. It would make no difference to you if I had changed you into a rhinoceros, which is where the whole silly myth got started. But in this guise, you have some chance of reaching King Haggard and finding out what has become of your people. As a unicorn, you would only suffer their fate unless you think you could defeat the bull if you met him a second time. The white girl shook her head. No, she answered. Never. Another time, I would not stand so long. Her voice was too soft, as though its bones had been broken. She said, My people are gone, and I will follow them soon, whatever shape you trap me in. But I would have chosen any other than this for my prison. A rhinoceros is as ugly as a human being, and it too is going to die. But at least it never thinks that it is beautiful. No, it never thinks that, the magician agreed. That's why it goes on being a rhinoceros and will never be welcome even at Haggard's court. But a young girl, a girl to whom it can never mean anything that she is not a rhinoceros, such a girl, while the king and his son seek to solve her, might unravel her own riddle until she comes to its end. Rhinoceri are not questing beasts, but young girls are. The sky was hot and curled. The sun had already melted into a lion-colored puddle, and on the plain of Hexgate nothing stirred but the slate. Oh, but the stale, heavy wind. The naked girl, with a flower mark on her forehead, stared silently at the green-eyed man, and the woman watched them both. In the tawny morning, King Haggard's castle seemed neither dark nor accursed, but merely grimy, run down, and poorly designed. Its skinny spires looked nothing like a bull's horns, but rather like those on a jester's cap, or like the horns of a dilemma, Schmendrick thought. They never have just two. The white girl said, I am myself still. This body is dying. I can feel it rotting all around me. How can anything that is going to die be real? How can it be truly beautiful? Molly Grew put the magician's cloak around her shoulders again, not for modesty or seemliness, but out of a strange pity, as though to keep her from seeing herself. I will tell you a story, Schmendrick said. As a child, I was apprenticed to the mightiest magician of all, the great Nikos, whom I have spoken of before. But even Nikos, who could turn cats into cattle, snowflakes into snowdrops, and unicorns into men, could not change me into so much as a carnival cart sharp. At last he said to me, My son, your ineptitude is so vast, your incompetence so profound, that I am certain you are inhabited by greater power than I ever have known. Unfortunately, it seems to be working backward at the moment, and even I can find no way to set it right. It must be that you are meant to find your own way to reach your power in time. But frankly, the o- but frankly, you should live so long as that will take you. Therefore, I grant it. That You shall not age from this day forth. You will travel the world round and round, eternally inefficient, until at last you come to yourself and know what you are. Don't thank me. I tremble at your doom. The white girl regarded him out of the unicorn's clear amaranthine eyes, gentle and frightening in the unused face, but she said nothing. It was Molly Grew who asked, "And if you should find your magic, what then?" "Then the spell will be broken, and I will begin to die, as I began at my birth. Even the greatest wizards grow old, like other men, and die." He swayed and nodded, and then snapped awake again, a tall, thin, chubby man, smelling of dust and drink. "I told you that I was older than I look," he said. "I was born immortal, and I have been immortal for a long, foolish time. And one day I will be mortal again, so I know something that a unicorn cannot know. Whatever can die is beautiful, more beautiful than a unicorn, who lives forever, and who is the most beautiful creature in the world. Do you understand me?" "No," she said. The magician smiled wearily. "You will. You're in the story with the rest of us now, and you must go with it, whether you will or no. If you want to find your people, if you want to become a unicorn again, then you must follow the fairy tale to King Haggard's castle. And wherever else it chooses to take you, the story cannot end without a princess." The white girl said, "I will not go." She stepped away, her body weary and the cold hair falling down. She said, "I am no princess, no mortal, and I will not go. Nothing but evil has happened to me since I left my forest, and nothing but evil can have become of unicorns in this country. Give me my true shape again, and I will return to my trees, to my pool, to my own place. Your tale has no power over me. I am a unicorn. I am the last unicorn." Had she said that once before, long ago, in the blue-green silence of the trees? Schmendrick continued to smile, but Molly grew sad. "Change her back. You said you could change her. Let her go home." "I cannot," the magician answered. "I told you. The magic is not mine to command, not yet. That is why I too must go on to the castle, and the fate or fortune that awaits there. If I try to undo the transformation now, I might actually turn her into a rhinoceros. That would be the best thing that could happen. As for the worst—" He shivered and fell silent. The girl turned from them and looked away at the castle that stooped over the valley. She could see no movement at any window or among the tottering turrets, or any sign of the Red Bull. Yet she knew that he was there, brooding at the castle's roots till night. Should fall again, strong beyond strength, invincible as the night itself. For a second time she touched the place on her forehead where her horn had been. When she turned again, they were asleep where they sat, the man and the woman. Their heads were pillowed on air, and their mouths hung open. She stood by them, watching them breathe, one hand holding the black cloak closed at her throat. Very faintly, for the first time, the smell of the sea came to her. It is 9, guys. Okay. That is chapter 8. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I like that chapter. Although it is kind of I almost cried, not gonna lie. We're going through an intermission. I hope everyone is staying hydrated and having a great day. I was thirsty. Um, so as I'm doing this, like live streaming for y'all with my actual model, I'm starting to learn to, think ahead of time. See, like the pinned comment section, I could have pinned the title of the book and stuff for y'all. Like, there's a lot on my mind right now to make things easier for all of us. As y'all can see, the book is getting kind of rough. I almost cried really for the unicorn, because really, imagine being like immortal, like a beautiful horse, right? One day, and then you suddenly like become something mortal, and you can feel like your body aging as you exist within it. You know what I'm saying? It's not that aging is scary to me or anything. It's more of a like, if you think about it, like the poor unicorn was living such a calm and peaceful life, you know? She wanted like to explore it, right? But everyone wants like exploration and peace of comfort, right? Sorry if that was loud. Um, see, if you were living in comfort and peace and beauty and happiness your whole life, imagine that, right? And then you go out on an adventure searching for your kinship, like your family, your friends, right? You can't find them, right? And now you become something that is not natural to you, and you're suffering, and you're feeling all the aging, the suffering, the confusion that comes with being mortal for the first time. Yeah, like I almost cried for real. But like then schmendricks part came, and I was like, oh, I got over it. But you know what I'm saying? Still, my voice got shaky there because I was really gonna cry. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, let me mute for a second so y'all don't get your ears hurt. Okay, I am back. But like really, I don't hate Schmedrick. I don't think he's bad or anything, because in the end, he did it all to save her, right? Because Molly Grew asked him to do it. So in the end, I don't really judge him for what he did. He did try his best, but as y'all can see, really it must have been super hard for him to do it, right? Because the magic is not his, right? Not only that, but I mean, I know it's kind of upsetting that he was kind of rejoicing at the fact that he turned her into a human, right? But it wasn't really him, it was the magic within him. He can't really control what the magic does. So I don't really judge him for it. He's just like, I'm like, bro, I mean, you can tell he's conflicted about his win there, because he did turn her into a human to save her, but obviously he can see her as well, coming to terms with her mortality for the first time. And it's really affecting her because to some extent, I do believe he has some kind of care for her. I mean, they've been traveling this whole time together, right? I mean, he has to have an inch of care for her, right? Because he's only human. I mean, he's not really human, he's a magician, but still, you know? And he's been immortal as well for the longest time, right? I mean, he kind of understands her to some extent, but him calling like life itself beautiful while he's watching the unicorn have a whole like existence crisis. I'm like, brother, now is not the time. Like, please, Mandrick, put that story up until she is better, okay? Until she's done like panicking and stuff. But yeah, it's actually really sad to see the unicorn, kind of, you know, panic and stuff, because she was living such a peaceful and calming life until that happened. it was her who wanted to explore, right? But obviously, it can have some like correlations to like our lives nowadays, if you think about it, because when you're a kid, everything is innocent and fun, right? At least for the most part. And then you start growing up and you start coming to terms with all these things that you learn as you get older, right? Um, if you're like in a calm and peaceful situation in life, and then suddenly you're thrown into a life of chaos and turmoil where you don't know what's gonna happen next, or what you're gonna do tomorrow, where the money's gonna come from, all that stuff. Like you can kind of relate to the unicorn if you think about it that way. Especially if you were sheltered growing older. So that is very saddening. At least I think I really like this chapter. It might be one of my favorites, along with the circus chapter. Yeah, these chapters are ginormous. They're huge. But for real, I will drink water one last time, and then I will read the next chapter, and hopefully y'all enjoy it. I think, actually, I think I might actually stop. Actually, I think I might actually stop. My bad. Well, thank you everyone for stopping by and chatting. Please leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. And bye. Have a great day or night. Bye bye.